Hi everyone, Manju here, and in today's video we are going to learn how to find out the right stocks to buy for long term. Well, there are more than 1300 stocks listed in our national stock exchange. But how do you find out the right stocks to buy? Well, whatever the stocks you select from the national stock exchange, there are three principles that you need to go through before you select your stocks for long term. So let's look at the three review process that you need to go through for each of the stocks. The first one is the questions that you need to ask yourself. The second is the fundamental analysis. And the third one would be technical analysis. Let's start with the first one, the questions to be asked yourself. Now, when it comes to any stocks, first question which you need to ask yourself is what kind of business that you're getting into. Try to understand the fundamental of the business. For example, whether it's a falling niche or whether it's a growing niche. Well, what I mean by that? Well, if you look at a business such as Bharat Petroleum versus a business like Tata Power, which stock would you choose? Well, I would definitely choose Tata Power because Bharat Petroleum focuses more on non-renewable energies such as petrol and diesel, and you might know, and the world is walking towards electricity and hydrogen fuels. There might not be enough future growth for this particular company. Whereas when you look at Tata Power, their focus is more on electricity generation and power generation. Their growth potential is very high. The second question which you need to ask yourself is how easy for anybody else to replicate a business. For example, let's compare Zomato with Reliance. Now, how easy for anybody else is to replicate Zomato? Easy, right? I mean, you easily have Swiggy and other competitors in the market. Whereas when you compare it with Reliance, how easy is it for people to replicate Reliance? The third question what you need to ask yourself is whether the product is understood by you. What is your circle of competence? How well do you understand the business? Like you might have seen, Warren Buffett would actually invest more on Coca-Cola rather than any technology companies because he is very clear that he is not very good at technology. The second parameter in your review process would be fundamental analysis. There are specific parameters that you can check on a lot of websites. So let's dive in and check out what are the parameters what we are looking at. So the fundamental analysis includes mostly reading the annual reports of any company. So there are various tools available online which helps us in understanding the fundamental analysis. So one of the best websites that I've found is called trendline.com, which you can see in the screen. So here what we could do is we could search for any companies listed in the stock market. I would search for Hindustan Unilever as an example. So once you get the listing, click on it and immediately you would see that you get a lot of metrics such as the company name, how well it's been performing. There are a lot of other metrics. For our analysis, let us keep it very simple. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down and I would be able to see the price graph, and then if you scroll down even more, you would be able to see the quarterly results. You could analyze any of the company's fundamentals through their quarterly results or the annual results. So here if you look at it, I'm going to select the annual results and I'm going to compare the last 5 years to 10 years data. Now if any company, if they are in a very profitable mode, definitely it's a good company to buy. However, there are other aspects to it which I'll talk in a while, but starting off with the annual results, you could see right from 2013 the total revenue for each year has been rising gradually, and similar way you can also see the operating profit has also been rising without any issues, and the net profit as well. If you look at it, there has been only 1 year in 2016 where there is a bit of a downturn, but that's just for 1 year, which is absolutely fine. But if you can see, the growth is tremendous. So once this is done, you could scroll down and you could go through various other factors such as the promoters holdings, which is a good sign when it comes to the fundamental analysis. The more shares the promoter holds, it's always better. So similar to trend line, I use another tool called screener. Here again you can do the same search. So here you could see the data is represented in a different way. So starting off with the current price, it's going at around 2,180 rupees. You could also see the stock PE, which is trading at 57.5, and a lot of other details. Now one of the interesting parameters to compare is the peer comparison, where you could compare this particular stock with their competitors. So you could compare the P ratio with their dividend yield and a lot of other factors. So you could see that Hindustan Unilever is in a very good stage when it comes to the comparison between their peers. So definitely it's a wonderful stock to buy. The other website which I would highly recommend is TickerTape, where you could see they do a lot of homework on behalf of us. So you could see if I search for a stock, basically you will get a widget on the left hand side which actually says whether the stock price is within the intrinsic value, what's the ROE versus the FD rates, the dividend returns, whether is it a good time to enter the market or to buy the stock, or is there any red flags associated with this particular stock. So if you look at it, although the intrinsic value is pretty high, definitely you could wait for a good buy zone to buy it, but if you start buying this stock in a systematic way, then definitely for the long term it would highly benefit you, and also it would give you suggestions from other analysts whether to buy this stock or not. So although there are a lot of other factors that are associated when it comes to the fundamental analysis, I would like to keep this video very short, just looking at the financial results for now. Here's a stock that I've come across recently, which is Union Bank of India, and you can see it's a value stock under radar. So if I go through their financial results, I've clicked on annual results, and you can see their total revenue has been pretty consistent across the years, but when you look at the net profit, you could see that there is a lot of disturbance when it comes to the profit itself due to various factors. It doesn't seem to be in a very steady mode. So definitely this is one of the stocks which is a bit tricky, and I would avoid buying it for a long term. Alright, so similar to the fundamental analysis, we have technical analysis that is done more on the charting, where you could see here's an example of the website where I use tradingview.com, and here I've chosen Hindustan Unilever. We use a lot of techniques to analyze the stock, such as price action. We use indicators, we use resistance zones, support zones, and various other stuff which I would be covering in the future videos. Alright, I hope you liked this video today. If you liked it, please click the like icon, subscribe to the channel, and share it with your friends. I'll see you in the next video.